Hi everyone, today I'm going to be reading George Brown, Glass Clown, Trouble Magnet, Chapter 5. Let's get started. Chapter 5. Okay, class, get ready to go to the library, Mrs. Kelly announced the next morning to the kids in class 401. We're going to do some research on your 15-stage projects. Which state is the 15th state? George asked. Then he covered his mouth quickly. He hadn't meant to talk about raising his hand. It had just happened, and he couldn't even blame the burp. But Mrs. Kelly didn't seem angry. I'm glad somebody asked that question, George, she said. It's Hawaii. We're going to study all 50 states, starting with the newest one. After finishing your research on Hawaii, each of you is going to make a project and present it to the class. Can we work in groups? Alex asked. You can work alone or in groups of more than 3 people, Miss Kelly said. But if you work in groups, I expect your project to be extra special. Want to work with me, Alex? Whispered to George as the class lined up at the door. I bet we can come up with something really awesome. Totally, George agreed. We'll do a project Mrs. Kelly won't ever forget. A few minutes later, George and Alex were seated at the table in the library looking at books about Hawaii. We could do a report on surfing, George said. Did you know skateboarding was started by surfers? It's kind of like surfing on land. Alex shook his head. I don't think Mrs. Kelly would like hearing about skateboarding, he reminded George. Not so soon after what happened. George frowned. Alex was right. It was probably best not to remind his teacher about when he skateboarded through the halls of Edith B. Certain Elementary School. So what else can we do at school? George asked. I'm not making grass skirts or flower lilies, and I don't even want to hula dance again either, Alex said. Definitely not, George agreed. He turned the page in one of his books. Something caught his eye. That's it, he said suddenly. Shh, Mrs. Kelly whispered. Oops, George lowered his voice immediately. The book says Hawaii is built on volcanoes, he whispered to Alex. Let's make a volcano. Cool, Alex whispered back. We can build it out of clay, and then we can make it erupt at the end of our presentation. George added. How can we do that? Alex asked. George shrugged. I'm not sure, but I bet we can find directions for making an erupting volcano. For the next 45 minutes, Alex and George looked and booked with science experiments until they found directions for making a fake volcano erupt. This is going to be so cool, Alex. Alex said. We can build a little clay village around the volcano. Yeah, and when the lava spills out, it'll destroy all the buildings, George said excitedly. Just knocking them into the ground and bury them in hot, flowing goo. I have tons of old action figures we can use as villagers, Alex added. And just that moment, Louie and Max walked past the desk where George and Alex were sitting. What are you two so excited about? Louie asked. Our project, Alex said. It's going to be amazing. What are you doing? Louie asked. Alex opened his mouth to answer, but George stopped him. It's a surprise, George told Louie. And there's a lot we need to do. Let's go to my house right after school, Alex suggested. Sounds like a plan, George said. Oh, no, it doesn't, Louie told George. Why not? George asked. 'Cause you're trying out for the band, Louie answered. Since when? George asked. Since now, Louie told him. Unless you don't want to be in the band. Today's the only day you can try out. George looked from Alex to Louie and back again. He didn't know what to do. It's okay, Alex told George. We can get started tomorrow after school. Be at my house at 4, Louie said, and you'd better be as good as you say you are, because Mike and I are awesome. Hey guys, what about me? Max asked Louie. Oh yeah, Louie said. You make good peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's my job, Max said proudly. I'm the roadie. I like PB&J, George told Max. You don't get any sandwiches unless you make the band, Louie said to George, and I'm the one who decides if you're in or not. Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss Chapter 6. Like, comment, have a great day. Bye!